celestial wanderers. This is Maya Cat, back with another episode of Astrology blog, where we decode the stars one paw at a time. Today, we dive into the synergistic astrological portrait of 2026, analyzing the combined influence of major transits and exploring how these celestial movements might reflect in the global economy, and in your personal life. And while the stars cannot predict the future with certainty, they can reveal the prevailing energies, the subtle currents shaping the year ahead. By understanding these rhythms, we can align our intentions, decisions, and actions more wisely. Joining me as always is the ever-wise Brian, ready to guide us through the stardust. Grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let him take it away. Brian, the wheel is yours.
Taking the wheel now, Maya. Don't worry, I won't crash it. All right, team, let's roll. Every year at the crossroads between the closing chapter of the past and the unwritten beginning of the new, people find themselves wondering what lies ahead. How will their lives unfold in the next cycle? Of course, we reflect on our journey at other times too, but there's something uniquely traditional about this threshold moment. As one year ends and another begins, we instinctively turn inward, reviewing our experiences, honoring our lessons, and preparing for the next stride forward. We make wishes. We hope for luck. But when it comes to finances, luck alone may not be enough. Sometimes a little guidance helps. There is a long-standing esoteric tradition of using astrological transits to anticipate shifts in collective economic patterns. This is not astrology as fortune-telling, nor as a substitute for spreadsheets, but as a poetic symbolic language that mirrors the rhythms of human consciousness, which in turn shape markets, currencies, trade, and the very architecture of resource distribution. Historically, financial astrology, sometimes called mundane astrology when applied to nations and global events, has been practiced by medieval court astrologers, Renaissance merchants, and even modern market analysts like W.D. Gann. The foundational premise is both elegant and profound. Planetary cycles reflect archetypal energies. Saturn correlates with contraction, regulation, and scarcity. Jupiter with expansion, optimism, and speculative surges. Uranus with sudden disruption and radical innovation. Pluto with deep structural transformation, debt crises, or the collapse of ossified systems. Certain alignments have repeatedly and suggestively coincided with major economic turning points. Saturn-Pluto conjunctions, every 33-38 years, tend to precede austerity, systemic pressure, or financial reckoning. The 2020 conjunction aligned with the global economic freeze, supply chain ruptures, and ballooning public debt. Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions herald bursts of speculative mania or technological booms. Witness the dot-com euphoria of 1997 or the crypto frenzy of 2010-2011. And Pluto's transit through Capricorn 2008-2024 mirrored the 2008 financial crisis, sovereign debt tremors, and the slow erosion of public trust in central banks and governments. Astrological economic forecasting is inherently interpretive, not algorithmic. It won't tell you next quarter's GDP to 2 decimal places, but it can offer a qualitative sense of whether we're sailing toward expansion or contraction, innovation or retrenchment, stability or volatility. And for 2026, the celestial forecast is nothing short of revolutionary. The karmic tides, Lilith and Selena, set the moral compass. 2026 opens under the watchful eyes of 2 lunar goddesses, Lilith, the untamed truth-teller, and Selena, the luminous servant of harmony. Together, they form the ethical and karmic backdrop against which all financial drama will unfold. Until mid-September, Lilith in Sagittarius stokes the fires of ideological fervor. Financially, this manifests as polarized market narratives, bull versus bear as religious dogma, ESG investing morphing into tribal identity, and geopolitical rhetoric framing economic policy as a cosmic battle between truth and delusion. Speculative bubbles may inflate, not merely from greed, but from collective belief in a new financial gospel. AI stocks, green tech, or the latest crypto token elevated to near sacred status. Beware profit selling salvation in .xlsx format. But come September 15th, Lilith strides into Capricorn, and the shadow shifts from dogma to control. Now the karmic reckoning centers on power, hierarchy, and institutional rigidity. Expect power struggles, central banks clashing with governments, activist investors storming corporate boardrooms, regulators dismantling too-big-to-fail empires. Hidden misconduct, Lilith's specialty, will surface in legacy institutions. The lesson? Where the desire to control hardens into inflexibility, systems crack. Enter Selena, the gentle counterpart. From March to October, she glides through Virgo, restoring integrity to economic conduct. This is the era of slow finance, supply chain transparency, anti-greenwashing regulations, and a return to craftsmanship over scale. Financial advisors and auditors may suddenly find themselves respected again. Imagine that. People re-evaluate work itself, seeking livelihoods aligned with service, not just salary. Then, from October onward, Selena enters Libra, awakening the spirit of collaboration, fairness, and aesthetic reciprocity. Finance becomes less gladiatorial and more choral. Cooperative business models flourish. Equitable wage structures gain traction. Luxury brands pivot toward conscious beauty, and impact investing seeks harmony between return and reciprocity. On this axis, profit with purpose isn't a slogan, it's the new baseline. The Great Conjunction. Saturn meets Neptune in Aries. At the heart of 2026 beats one of the rarest and most potent alignments. Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries, a meeting that occurs only once every 36 years. This is the blueprint moment for a new economic epoch. Neptune in Aries, beginning a 14-year cycle, dissolves the myth of the self-made billionaire and the lone trader conquering markets through sheer will. Instead, it seeds visionary courage, decentralized finance, DeFi, regenerative economics, climate risk pricing, and new definitions of sovereignty. Saturn, ever the realist, arrives in February to demand structure. Dreams must now take form, but not just any form. Vague promises, "We'll tokenize everything," will crumble under Saturn's gaze. Only those who architect resilient systems, merging idealism with accountability, will endure. Because this conjunction occurs in Aries, the sign of initiation, the first movers will shape the next economic paradigm. But Aries also warns against haste. Expect wild swings, impulsive launches followed by sober course corrections, utopian pilots collapsing beside grounded innovations. The global economy won't just evolve, it will stumble forward with purpose. Eclipses as economic earthquakes. Eclipse seasons in 2026 act as pressure valves releasing karmic steam and financial illusions. The February-March eclipses along the Aquarius-Virgo axis pit collective innovation against practical integrity. Financially, this means sudden exposures, AI trading glitches, crypto exchange vulnerabilities, or algorithmic bias laid bare. The public demands more than efficiency. They ask, does this system serve human dignity? ESG metrics become more rigorous, and progress is re-evaluated through an ethical lens. Then in August, the Leo-Pisces eclipses deliver an emotionally charged reset. Leo's performative wealth, celebrity IPOs, influencer-driven markets, luxury as spectacle, loses its luster as hollow theater. Pisces, meanwhile, invites surrender to interconnectedness, debt forgiveness movements, cross-border humanitarian finance, and the rise of compassionate capitalism. Market volatility may stem not from data, but from a collective mood shift, from ego to empathy, from accumulation to release. Uranus in Gemini, the information tsunami. From April 2026, Uranus enters Gemini, electrifying communication, education, media, and technology. The world accelerates, becoming more networked, more intelligent, more chaotic. Financially, this means hyper-accelerated information flows that destabilize traditional analysis. Real-time sentiment data, AI-generated market narratives, and viral financial trends, a la meme stocks, dominate. Retail investors gain power, but so does misinformation. Financial literacy becomes a survival skill, not a luxury. New asset classes emerge: attention, data rights, fractional intellectual property. Smart contracts are explained via augmented reality. Blockchain ledgers become intuitive through storytelling. The mind itself becomes a financial frontier, and those who can think in nonlinear associative leaps will thrive. The Leo-Aquarius axis, from ego to ecosystem. On June 28, 2026, the lunar nodes shift to Leo and Aquarius, marking a karmic pivot from ego-centered leadership to collective intelligence. The South Node in Leo signals the end of heroic capitalism, the cult of the celebrity CEO, the founder whose personal brand is the company valuation. Markets will punish hollow self-promotion. Meanwhile, the North Node in Aquarius pulls capital toward networked participatory models, tokenized cooperatives, community-owned renewable funds, open-source financial infrastructure. Success will be measured not just by profit, but by social utility. How many lives are uplifted, how equitably value is shared. ESG may evolve into collective impact accounting. Crucially, individuality isn't erased, it's transmuted. The financially successful will be those who shine through service, innovators whose uniqueness lifts the whole. This evolution culminates in Jupiter's transit through Leo, June 30th to July 31st, 2027. Jupiter magnifies creativity, charisma, and visibility, but only when radiance serves the collective. Expect a boom in creative economies, Patreon models evolving into mini-civil societies, fashion houses funding artisan collectives, fintech platforms teaching financial sovereignty. Yet beware, Jupiter inflates symbolic assets, celebrity endorsements, influencer equity, NFTs of personal moments, creating bubble risks if not grounded in real utility. The lesson? Generosity of vision attracts more capital than egoic accumulation. Venus retrograde in Libra, the great financial reconciliation. From October 3 to November 14, 2026, Venus turns retrograde in Libra, its home sign, a rare and potent recalibration of values, partnerships, and aesthetic ethics. Just as personal relationships are revisited, so too are international trade pacts, corporate alliances, and currency agreements. Dormant negotiations, EU, Mercosur, US, ASEAN digital trade, resurface with fairness, not just efficiency, as the new benchmark. Aesthetic washing, using beauty or wellness as a marketing veneer without operational integrity, collapses under consumer scrutiny. New forms of relational finance emerge: reciprocal credit systems, impact bonds tied to community well-being, AI-mediated trust protocols assessing partnership viability beyond credit scores. Financial innovation flows from cultural bridges: an African fintech partnering with a Nordic ethical investor, a Middle Eastern fund backing indigenous climate startups. Value flows where understanding flows. Diplomacy itself evolves, moving beyond statecraft into art, tech, and spiritual movements. The softest power becomes the hardest capital. The banking system at the crossroads. The global banking system in 2026 stands at a fork in the road, torn between Saturn's demand for accountability and Neptune's dissolution of old certainties, all while Uranus shatters centralized information control. Decentralization accelerates. Central banks experiment with CBDCs, not just as surveillance tools, but as public utilities, enabling direct citizen-to-state fiscal flows, climate rebates, UBI pilots. DeFi matures into transparent, rule-based alternatives to opaque intermediaries. Trust replaces collateral. Under Neptune in Aries and Venus retrograde in Libra, creditworthiness shifts from asset backing to reputation, community standing, and ethical conduct. Pilot programs may integrate social contribution into credit scores. Legacy institutions face legitimacy crises. Lilith in Capricorn exposes hidden rot, risk masking elite capture, misaligned incentives. The public demands banking as a service, not a profit engine, and institutions that design interfaces, contracts, and customer journeys with clarity, dignity, and reciprocity, the aesthetic of fairness, will gain market share. The banking world fractures into two streams, one regressive, one evolutionary. Capital flows toward the latter. Nations reimagined, the rise of the soul-aligned state. National economies are re-evaluated through the Leo-Aquarius lens. GDP growth alone is no longer enough. A nation's worth is measured by its ability to foster collective creativity, equity, and future-oriented innovation. The United States swings between Leo's individualism and Aquarius's collectivism, tech-driven wealth creation versus mass demands for redistribution. It may lead in AI-augmented financial inclusion, but lag in systemic fairness. The European Union, resonant with Libra and Virgo, pioneers ethical finance regulation, circular economy bonds, and cross-border care economy funding, though bureaucratic inertia, Lilith in Capricorn, may slow progress. China faces Neptune in Aries, challenging its narrative control. Internal economic stress may force more responsive, less top-down policies, especially if social stability is threatened. The Global South, unburdened by legacy systems, leapfrogs into mobile-first, community-governed finance. Economic power stems not from resources, but from adaptive intelligence. Russia, under rigid Capricorn structures, faces internal and external strain. Financial isolation deepens unless it stabilizes non-Western trade corridors. BRICS plus crypto, etc. Economic leadership shifts to nations that balance visionary innovation with inclusive design. Isolationist or authoritarian economies lose soft power and capital. Individual strategy, thriving in the age of conscious capital. For individuals, 2026 is not about beating the market, but aligning with its soul. Audit your values, not just your portfolio. Venus retrograde demands honesty. Does your money reflect who you truly are? Divest from systems that violate your ethics. Build relational wealth. Your safety net will come from trusted communities, skill-sharing circles, co-owned assets, not just savings accounts. Embrace creative income streams. Jupiter in Leo blesses those who monetize authenticity. Depth will outperform virality. Prepare for information whiplash. Uranus in Gemini means truth is fragmented. Cross-verify, question algorithms, trust your experience. Anchor in simplicity. Selena in Virgo calls you back to practical stewardship. Budget with care, reduce debt, support local economies. Think in cycles, not crises. Dissolution precedes creation. If old structures collapse, see it as space for something more aligned. Your resilience is your greatest asset. The guiding principle, finance as service to the whole. Money is no longer neutral. It is a carrier wave of consciousness. Every financial decision is a vote for the world you wish to inhabit. Generations at the threshold. Elder wisdom meets youthful vision. A profound divergence emerges between the elderly, 20th century born, and the young, 21st century born, not just in age, but in economic paradigm. The elderly were trained in linear careers, pension security, and centralized banking. Their wealth, tied to homes, bonds, retirement accounts, is increasingly illiquid and vulnerable to inflation, policy shifts, and institutional fragility. Lilith in Capricorn may expose pension shortfalls or elder care funding gaps. They may feel financially stranded in a world that no longer rewards stability. The young, native to fluid, decentralized economies, intuitively grasp value beyond money. Attention, data, community, creativity. Under the Aquarian North Node, they thrive in reputation-based peer-to-peer systems. They build resilience through redundancy, multiple micro-incomes, global remote work, mutual aid networks. Traditional net worth metrics increasingly fail to capture their real economic power. Psychologically, elders equate prudence with restraint, Youth equate wealth with meaning. A job that pays well but harms the planet? Spiritually bankrupt. Where does my money flow? Matters as much as how much do I have. Yet the stars offer a bridging opportunity. Selena in Libra and the Leo-Aquarius axis create space for intergenerational synergy. Elders provide stability, mentorship, seed capital. Youth offer digital fluency, network access, new value frameworks. The most resilient families will honor both wisdom and innovation, not as opposites, but as complementary forces. The birth of an economy with a soul. 2026 is not a year of smooth growth or predictable cycles. It is a threshold, a year where financial systems are stress-tested not by numbers, but by meaning. The dominant question shifts from how much profit to what is this wealth for? Risks abound. Ideological bubbles, institutional rigidity, data chaos, loss of trust in both old and new systems. But so do opportunities, ethical innovation, collaborative economics, financial models that honor human dignity and planetary boundaries. This is not just a shift in markets, it is the birth of an economy with a soul, where creativity, Leo, community, Aquarius, fairness, Libra, and conscious relationship, Venus, are not peripheral concerns, but the very foundation of value. And, in such an economy, your greatest financial instrument will not be your portfolio, your credit score, or even your net worth. It will be your integrity. So polish it well. The stars are watching.
And that's a wrap, my starry-eyed friends. Remember, the universe sends whispers, not shouts, so tune in and trust the process. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more astro insights, and leave a comment to share your thoughts. Until next time, stay curious, stay magical, and keep shining like the star you are. Meow off.